You know what separates the good from the great? It's not talent, it's not opportunity, it's not luck, it's purpose. Greatness doesn't start with what you do. It starts with why you do it. That why, that deep burning reason becomes your fuel when everything else runs out, when your motivation fades, when your friends stop believing, when life punches you in the mouth. It's your why that pulls you out of bed. Most people never reach greatness because they never dig deep enough to find that reason that makes them cry, that reason that keeps them up at night, that reason that won't let them quit. See, everybody says they want success, but only a few are truly willing to pay the price because their reason isn't strong enough. If your reason for chasing greatness is shallow, you'll quit the moment it gets hard. But if your reason is rooted in something that means everything to you, your family, your future, your purpose, quitting won't even be an option. That's when greatness begins to form, not in the moments of glory, but in the quiet battles nobody sees, when it's just you and your dream. And all you've got left is that why. When you know why you're doing it, you stop negotiating with your goals. You stop saying, I'll do it tomorrow. You stop making excuses. You start moving with clarity, with direction, with conviction. Your why gives your pain meaning. It transforms struggle into strategy. It turns every setback into a setup because now you understand the fight is part of the process. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start saying, this is happening for me. That shift changes everything. You see, the people who reach greatness, they don't just wake up motivated every day. They wake up driven. There's a difference. Motivation is temporary, but drive comes from purpose. You can't fake it. You can't borrow it, and nobody can give it to you. You've got to build it from within. You've got to know exactly what you're chasing and why it matters more than your comfort, your excuses, your distractions. Because when you understand that, you'll do whatever it takes. Greatness demands that you go beyond convenience. It asks you to dig deep when the lights are off, when nobody's cheering, when nobody's watching. And that's when your why becomes your weapon. That's when your heart, your passion, your purpose start speaking louder than your fears. You start moving with intention. You start walking like someone who knows where they're going, even when the path isn't clear. And that kind of clarity, that kind of conviction, that's what makes people unstoppable. Because when you find your reason, no mountain is too high, no storm too strong, no challenge too big. You stop chasing motivation and start chasing destiny. Everybody loves to talk about motivation, those goosebumps you get when you watch a powerful video or hear a moving speech. But let's be real, motivation fades. It's a spark, not a fire. What really drives greatness isn't how hyped you feel. It's how disciplined you are when you don't feel like doing anything at all. Discipline is the difference between people who dream about success and people who live it. Because let me tell you something, you're not always going to be motivated. There will be mornings when you wake up tired, when your body says, stay in bed, when your mind says, take a break. But greatness is built in those moments when you push past that voice and show up anyway. Discipline means doing what needs to be done, even when you don't want to do it. It's not about feeling good. It's about being committed. The champions, the leaders, the legends, they don't rely on motivation. They rely on structure, on habits, on consistency. They don't wait to feel ready because they understand that action comes first and feelings follow. You can't afford to live your life waiting for a mood swing to dictate your grind. You've got to lock in day after day, no matter what's going on around you. See, the truth is, discipline builds strength that motivation never will. When you're motivated, everything feels easy. But when you're disciplined, you keep going even when it's hard. And that's where growth happens. That's where character is formed. That's where greatness is born. In the repetitions, in the routines, in the silent moments of effort that nobody claps for. Because discipline doesn't need applause. It doesn't need recognition. It just needs you to show up. The reason most people never reach their potential is because they stop when it stops feeling good. But greatness isn't about how you feel. It's about what you do despite how you feel. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you're strengthening the part of you that refuses to settle. You're teaching yourself that your goals are non-negotiable. And the more you honor that commitment, the more unstoppable you become. Discipline gives you power. It gives you freedom. It puts you in control of your destiny. Think about it. If you can discipline yourself to keep moving when your emotions scream, stop what can possibly hold you back. The world starts to open up for those who don't rely on temporary energy, but build unshakable routines. You stop chasing the feeling of motivation and start living by the standard of excellence. Every day you show up is another brick in the foundation of your greatness. It's not glamorous. It's not always exciting, but it's real. And it's the only path that leads to mastery. Because motivation gets you started, but discipline is what keeps you going until you win. Everybody wants greatness until they realize what it costs. See, greatness isn't glamorous when you're in it. It's not the highlight reels, not the trophies, not the applause. It's the pain. The pain of waking up early when your body's begging for rest. The pain of pushing forward when the world's telling you to stop. The pain of sacrifice, giving up comfort today for a future that isn't guaranteed yet. Pain is the price of progress, and most people don't want to pay it. They want the reward without the grind, the results without the resistance. But pain is proof that you're growing. It's the universe testing you to see how bad you really want it. You can't avoid pain and still expect to rise. Every time you choose the easy road, you rob yourself of the lessons the struggle was trying to teach you. You can't build strength and comfort. You can't build resilience without resistance. The people you admire, the ones who reached incredible levels of success, they didn't get there because they were lucky. They got there because they embraced pain. They learned to make peace with it. They understood that every setback, every failure, every heartbreak was shaping them into who they needed to become. Pain doesn't come to break you, it comes to build you. It's like a refining fire. It burns away your weakness, your excuses, your limitations, until only the strong version of you remains. You've got to stop running from it. You've got to learn to see it differently. Because the same pain that's making you cry today could be the very thing that gives you strength tomorrow. When you stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what is this teaching me? That's when you start to grow. That's when you turn pain into purpose. You see, greatness doesn't come to those who have it easy. It comes to those who keep moving even when every step hurts. When you push through that pain, you discover something about yourself, a level of strength you never knew existed. You realize that pain isn't your enemy, it's your partner in progress. It's shaping your mindset, sharpening your focus, and forcing you to level up. Most people quit when it hurts. But the great ones, they dig deeper. They understand that the breakthrough always comes after the breakdown. Pain introduces you to the strongest version of yourself. It strips away all the noise, all the excuses, and leaves you with the truth. Either you want it or you don't. Every bruise, every scar, every struggle is evidence that you refused to back down. You took the hit and kept moving. And that's what greatness demands, not perfection, not privilege, but persistence through pain. Because when you can endure the hurt and still chase your dream, you've already won. You can't chase greatness if your mind is constantly at war. You can't build something extraordinary while letting everything and everyone drain your peace. Focus isn't just about working hard. It's about protecting your energy. Your energy is your fuel. And when you give it away to chaos, distractions, or negativity, you're robbing yourself of the power you need to win. Too many people are exhausted not because they're working too hard, but because they're fighting battles that don't belong to them. They're arguing with people who don't matter, scrolling through noise that adds nothing to their purpose, letting opinions shape their direction. And then they wonder why they feel lost. If you want to reach greatness, you've got to learn how to protect your peace. That means saying no more often. That means cutting off distractions that don't align with your vision. It means surrounding yourself with people who feed your focus, not your fears. Because every time you let someone's drama or negativity into your space, you lose a piece of your momentum. You can't afford that. You can't afford to waste mental energy on things that don't serve your purpose. Your peace is sacred. It's the foundation that allows clarity, creativity, and consistency to thrive. Without it, everything else falls apart. The most successful people in the world aren't the busiest. They're the most focused. They don't say yes to everything. They know exactly where their energy belongs. They guard their time, their thoughts, and their emotions like a fortress because they understand that greatness demands focus. You can't see your future clearly if your mind is clouded with noise. You've got to silence the distractions, shut out the chaos, and center yourself on what truly matters. That's not selfish, that's survival. Sometimes protecting your peace means walking away from people who've been in your life for years. It means turning off your phone, stepping away from social media, and creating space for your soul to breathe, because you can't pour from an empty cup. You can't give your best when you're constantly drained. Focus isn't just about attention, it's about alignment. Every move you make, every word you speak, every thought you entertain, it should all push you closer to your purpose, not pull you away from it. The world will always try to distract you with noise. Opportunities that aren't meant for you. People who want your energy but not your growth. Problems that don't need your attention. But when you learn to protect your peace and stay focused on your lane, you become unstoppable. You move with clarity, you act with intention, and your results start to reflect your discipline. Because greatness doesn't come from doing more. It comes from doing what matters most and protecting your peace enough to stay locked in until you get there. Greatness isn't something that happens overnight. It's not the result of one big decision or one perfect moment. It's the outcome of small, consistent actions repeated day after day when nobody's watching. Consistency creates confidence. Every time you show up, even when you don't see immediate results, you're building something inside yourself that no one can take away. You're proving to your mind that you're dependable, that you can trust yourself, and that trust, that quiet confidence, becomes the foundation of greatness. Most people think confidence comes from success, but it doesn't. Confidence comes from consistency. It comes from keeping promises you make to yourself. You say you're going to wake up early, and you do. You say you're going to put in the work, and you do. You say you won't quit this time, and you don't. Every time you follow through, you build credibility with yourself. That's what separates people who wish from people who win. Because when you've been consistent long enough, you no longer need external validation. You've seen your own effort. You've felt your own growth. And that becomes unshackable. The reason so many people never reach their potential isn't because they don't have talent. It's because they lack consistency. They start strong but fade when it gets tough, when progress slows, when the excitement wears off. But greatness demands patience. It's built through repetition. It's built through showing up on the days that feel ordinary. Because those ordinary days stack up to create extraordinary results. It's not about doing everything perfectly. It's about doing something purposefully again and again until it becomes who you are. When you're consistent, you begin to operate differently. You start trusting your process more than your feelings. You don't panic when you don't see results right away because you understand that growth is invisible before it's undeniable. You realize every rep, every minute of effort, every single act of discipline is compounding even if it doesn't look like it yet. And then one day, people look at you and call you confident, but they don't see the years you spent building that confidence through consistency. Consistency isn't glamorous. It's not loud. It's quiet work. It's the early mornings, the late nights, the sacrifices, the moments of doubt where you kept going anyway. It's the backbone of greatness, the habit of not giving up. Because the truth is, success doesn't always come to the most talented. It comes to the most consistent, the ones who show up again and again, even when the results are slow, even when no one's cheering. Even when it feels like nothing's changing. That's where greatness is born, not in the spotlight, but in the daily grind. Because when you stay consistent long enough, you stop needing to convince the world who you are. Your work does the talking. Too many people today are chasing attention instead of purpose. They want to be seen more than they want to make a difference. They're counting likes, followers, and views, thinking that somehow those numbers measure their value. But true greatness was never about popularity. It's about legacy. It's about what you leave behind when the lights go out, when the cameras stop rolling, when nobody's talking about you anymore. Greatness isn't built in the comments. It's built in the impact you make on the people you touch, the lives you change, the hearts you inspire. You've got to decide what you're really chasing. Chasing validation, or are you chasing purpose? Because one fades, the other lasts forever. Likes don't last, trends don't last, fame doesn't last, but legacy outlives you. Legacy is what people say about you when you're gone. It's the influence that keeps speaking long after you've stopped. And that kind of greatness doesn't come from trying to please the crowd. It comes from staying true to your mission, even when nobody's clapping. The truth is, when you live for approval, you'll always be controlled by it. You'll start changing who you are just to fit what people want to see. But when you live for purpose, you stand firm even when people don't understand you. You stay focused even when you're overlooked. Because you know you're building something bigger than attention. You're building meaning. That's what separates those who shine for a moment from those who shine for a lifetime. Legacy is built through the choices you make every single day. It's in how you treat people when there's nothing in it for you. It's in how you respond to failure, how you rise after getting knocked down, how you serve others with what you've been given. The ones who reach true greatness, they don't just win for themselves. They lift others as they climb. They understand that success without impact is empty. The goal isn't to be remembered for being popular, it's to be remembered for being purposeful. When you're chasing legacy, your priorities shift. You start asking different questions, not how can I get more attention, but how can I make a difference? Not how can I look successful, but how can I be significant? Because significance doesn't need to shout. It's felt. It's seen in the lives that are better because of your presence, in the people who are inspired because you refuse to quit, in the path you cleared for those who come after you. That's real greatness, the kind that doesn't need recognition to be real. At the end of the day, everything fades. The applause, the spotlight, the noise. But your impact, your purpose, your legacy, that's what remains. That's what echoes long after you're gone. Because true greatness isn't about being remembered for what you had. It's about being remembered for what you gave.